Hello, I'm sad-satting from outside a donut shop because I played softball twice this week, so I feel I can eat a donut without worrying about repercussions. Um, um, so yeah, I want to go on a rant about my softball games, um, but I fear that someone I'm ranting about will watch this. This is not private. Um, Somebody was talking about the purpose of this or the appeal of this. I think it might have been Michael. Um, and I do think that there is something um, unique and interesting about the perspective of middle class actors, um, as opposed to struggling newbies um, who are sort of looking at things wide eyed and don't really have the perspective, or superstars who people are very interested in their lives. Like, wow, does Brad Pitt rent a private jet or buy one? Does he share it with Tobey Maguire? I mean, we all have these questions, um, but it doesn't relate. Um, so we're in the middle. Um, and I think the nature of the business and our place in it um, raises some interesting questions that are fairly universal. I mean, the fact that as an actor you're always struggling in some sense, perhaps not necessarily financially if you're a big superstar, but everything's a temp job, you know? Every job ends. Whether it's a movie shoot or a series, um, and most of the time you have no idea when it's going to end, which creates a certain amount of tension. And personally, I believe that um, filters out more people than lack of talent does. I know, you know, many people who are much better actors than me who aren't in this business anymore just because they couldn't take not knowing what's next. Um, when am I going to be able to afford a house? Am I going to be able to keep up this private school tuition payment? I don't know, because you don't know. You just have to guess and have faith. I think something else that's interesting about this grouping of people is the fact that our experience is becoming more of a norm than it used to be. Um, I remember when I, graduated college, everybody was going into investment banking because that was stable. Not so much now. I mean, really, there isn't any stable job, and that's actually been one of the weirdest things about the economic downturn or recession or depression or whatever you want to call it, is that it's it's given that, at least for me, my faith that sustains me in this business a sort of a hit. Because usually, I mean, you're out of work a lot. And usually, it feels like you're in between jobs. But over the last couple of years, Sam was talking about this, there's that weird feeling of, and Steve too, ooh, was that it? Because at some point, one job will be my last job. And I never know which one it's going to be. It's like, well, Gregory Peck retired. No, Gregory Peck didn't retire. People stopped calling. Um, but more and more these days, it feels like, yikes, that could have been the last one. Um, and also the fact that we middle class actors are becoming an endangered species. We're being squeezed out. You know, um, the business model around Hollywood is changing so much that they would rather either spend millions of dollars to hire somebody who's a brand name to do the job that we used to do, like a voiceover for a car commercial or a guest star on a sitcom, or hire somebody with no credits, no experience, who doesn't cost them anything. It's like, well, he may not be as good. It's like, does it really matter? It's not the star. So we're I don't know. I feel like we're being seen as more expendable than ever before. Um, wow, this is already really, really long. The other things I wanted to talk about, Sam, we should go to a ball game. Um, or at least the batting cages, because that's cheaper. And the other aspect, I don't know, I feel sort of on the outside, which is normal for me, about this whole, like, oh, I can't take compliments, oh, I'm too neurotic, oh, when I hear something good, I don't get that. I mean, when Morgan says, oh, well, Steve and Phil were wearing their black T-tops, I'm like, hey, hot, funny writer thinks I'm hot. Nice. I'll take that with a spoonful of sugar. And I accept it. And I think, you know what? I'm not bad. Not gonna go put on another tank top, but and the preponderance of sinus issues and sensitivities, allergies and all that stuff. That I don't get that either. I don't know. Is that like is that a white thing? I mean, I'm not terribly black by most people's measure. But I guess I'm black enough not to like be sticking stuff up my nose to make myself sneeze. I don't know. Is that a cultural thing? I'm going to say it is. And you guys need to, I don't know, get some more black in your gene pool. Deep in that sucker. Yeah. That's all I had to say. Like that's not enough. Jeez.